If you want to look good and feel great, you've got to find a way to exercise. But maybe the idea of spending hours in the gym doesn't appeal to you, or maybe you find running in circles around the quad boring. Maybe you need to try something called cross-training. Dr. Milady Murphy is here from Shelton State's Health and Wellness Center to tell us more. Dr. Murphy, thanks so much for being with us today.
Always a pleasure, Daniel. According to the American College of Sport Medicine, what we're finding out is that cross-training is one of the best things you can do, not only to reduce the risk of injury from repetitive motion, but to enhance strength, balance, range of motion, and it can be done for all levels of fitness.
Now, this is, when people think about cross-training, a lot of times they'll think about these athletes that go out and do all these multi-tiered athletic events like running and swimming and riding a bicycle and stuff like that all at the same time. It's not that intense. That is the idea behind it. There's crossover. That's why it's cross-training. But you don't have to be a triathlete to start cross-training, right?
Excellent point, Daniel. Let's say you're a weekend warrior and you walk just 2 days a week. You can infuse those concepts that you just talked about 2 days a week. For example, let's say you've been walking now for 3 months, but you can only do it on the weekend. All right, and you're doing it for 45 minutes. Well, some weekends, change it up. That way you don't have that repetitive risk of injury. Let's say on a Saturday, instead of walking, you're riding a stationary bicycle or you're cycling. Let's say on the other day, you're strength training and you're doing some core training exercises with that and some calisthenics. So you're mixing it up. So if some folks are walking 5 days a week and they've been doing it for 3-4 years.
Right.
Okay? And all of a sudden they find they're getting bored, or they're getting injured, or they're feeling tight in places that they normally didn't think they would feel. You want to mix it up. That's what the studies are showing, that if you mix up your cardio exercises and infuse it with strength training, balance activity, stretching activities, not only do you reduce the risk of injury from repetitive motions, you don't get bored, and you enhance the other muscle groups in the body, and if you need to lose weight, you lose it even more effectively by bringing in many different muscle groups into play.
So say now, like you use the example of someone that's walking 5 days a week. Say I'm walking 3 days a week.
Okay, very good.
What I would want to do at this point is maybe take one of those walking days and continue to walk.
Right.
And maybe the next one, let's say Wednesday, today, maybe go for a bike ride instead.
Very good.
And then Friday, maybe go swimming.
Exactly. You're changing your muscle groups. When you're walking, you're using mostly lower body, and there's no strengthening going on or putting on muscle on the body. So let's say on the next day, you want to do some weight training activities, some resistant activities. You could do it in the form of calisthenics. It doesn't have to be in a gym. And then on the other day that you want to do cardio exercises, you can either bike or swim. So you're mixing it up and you're using the total body rather than just one major muscle group from the waist down that you're doing in walking. And if you don't know what you're doing, and a lot of people may like the idea of, infusing different activities, hire a personal trainer or get involved in an exercise class that does resistant activities such as core training or balance and strengthening and calisthenics. And you mix it up, that way you don't get bored, you reduce the risk of repetitive injuries, and once you've established a foundation and an understanding, then you can do it on your own.
There you go. Dr. Murphy, thanks so much for being with us today.
Always a pleasure, Daniel.
You can find out more about the Health and Wellness Center online at sheltonstate.edu or by calling 205-391-2994.